Hey, what's going on YouTube? Storm here with another discussion video today, talking about the topic that's kind of been moving a lot around the YouTuber community is, should Lavalval Chain be banned? Now, I've put myself on the it shouldn't be touched at all bandwagon, but obviously I'm in the heat massive. I think what did I call it one time? I called it the Yu-Gi-Oh hive mind. Is basically saying ban Chain. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about why, in my opinion, Lavalval Chain is more than a fair card. So first we're not even going to talk about the whole ARG banning it, because we've all had enough of that. We're going to talk about the cards that Lavalval Chain is supposedly causing problems with, and why I don't think those are a problem. So the first thing that comes to mind is, obviously, we all if you played Infernities before Archfiend went to 1, you probably have very, very bad memories of Infernities wombo comboing. You know a deck is bad when you have to make Diamond Direwolf to clear off your board to continue doing more combos. So, but with now Lavalval Chain survived that because Konami saw that Chain's not really the problem. It's the fact that Archfiend was more the problem than Chain. So in this regard, they get my applause because they hit an archetype rather than hitting the support like they did with Preparation of Rites and Tour Guide. So the argument that Infernities are a problem, Archfiend's at 1. Try the deck now. It's really Archfiend hit. The deck can still combo if it draws the right cards, but it's just not what it used to be when Archfiend was at 3. Now that Archfiend's at 1, it's not as Chain was never the problem. It was the Infernities themselves. So the next thing, obviously, unless you've not been playing this entire format, you know what the quote Dejin lock is, involving Dejin release your rituals. Usually, it's on when you use this card to summon a ritual monster, your opponent is forced to. It's a one-sided Vanity's Emptiness. Your opponent cannot special summon. All format people have been main decking pretty crummy cards like Bullblader. DD Warrior Lady is not a bad card, but again, it hasn't been ran in a decks for a while. Cards like even something as bad as Book of Eclipse, which I would say would never really have been. I never thought that card would be meta relevant. The only time I think I ever saw the card on all my time playing Yu-Gi-Oh was when I was playing on Dove Pro and a guy was playing a Needleworm Troll deck using Book of Eclipse. That's the only time I've ever even seen the card before this particular format. So if you think the Dejin lock is a problem, the easiest thing to do is to simply definitely ban the Dejin, because it's one of those cards that's either at 3 or nothing. So I feel like it's got to go. If you really think Dejin is a problem, you can feel free to ban Dejin. I've also been on the record saying for Necros, hitting Unicorn is probably the safest thing to do. You'd be surprised how much more difficult it is for a Necros player and to go for their Lavalval Chain plays when they only have that one copy Unicorn. They have to think a lot more carefully. So the other thing with Lavalval Chain, people talk about the blue-blooded Oni FTK, OTK, whatever it is. My take on, typically FTKs are far too inconsistent to ever really do anything in the meta. That's one of the reasons why, for some odd reason, we still have Blaze Phoenix, Blaze Phoenix at 3, is because the deck is too inconsistent to ever do anything. Konami, typically the few times Konami preemptively hits something, with a couple of exceptions, obviously, like the Dragon Rulers, typically they do not preemptively hit a card before something else comes out, unless it's FTK oriented. Now, the one that comes to mind is when they banned both Morphing Jar and Morphing Jar number 2 before Jackpot 7 came out. And that was not even a greatly consistent FTK deck. It was moderately consistent. Nothing on the level of what Chicken Race, Life Equalizer, FTK, or OTK. So, my thing on this the reason I don't think Blue Blood, if you really, really don't like that FTK, you're probably never going to encounter it in real life, because most of the time, people don't take the type decks like that to events because it just takes way too many combos, it's too easy to misplay, and you can't go through 10 rounds and do well on a consistent basis. So, I just feel that the blue-blooded Oni is not really a problem. Now, we're going to look a little bit now and the other thing I would say about Lavalval Chain is, compared to other cards, and it is a foolish burial. Now, the argument on their side might be, or it's a foolish burial, foolish is at 1 for a reason. You'd be correct. Lavalval Chain requires you to play level 4s and make a rank 4, and it requires 2 cards in hand, whereas foolish is live the minute you draw it, and it's usually a +1 in a lot of the meta decks we play today, such as Burning Abyss and Shaddolls. So the reason I think Chain is fine at 3, where Foolish is at 1, is because Foolish is an instant. The instant you draw it, you can use it. It's just like Dark Hole or Geki. You draw it, it's live. Whereas Chain takes setup, which is the main reason I like Lavalval Chain as a card. It's a creative, combo-oriented card. I love that aspect of the deck. And the other thing I'm noticing is people are talking a lot about Cloudblade, and we don't even have it yet here in the TCG until a lot of the Cloudblade cards we will be missing, which I'm going to get to that. But if you don't know what Cloudblade is, it's a combo involving Heroic Champion Thousand Blades and Performa Mage Trick Clown. Performa Mage is our new archetype coming out, I think, in Clash of Rebellions, and it's basically a rank 4 spam archetype used by, I think, Dennis uses it in the anime. So basically the interaction is Trick Clown will special summon itself when it goes to the graveyard and it'll take damage, and then Thousand Blades will special summon itself and allow you to make another rank 4. The problem with that Cloudblade and it will have in the TCG is the large number of missing cards, and mainly Cyber Dragon Infinity. If you have that card, I'm kind of glad that card's not in the TCG yet. But cards like Cyber Dragon Infinity, Utopia, the Lightning, there are a lot of cards that we are currently missing here in the TCG. I don't think preemptively hitting Chain is really the answer, because we don't know what Cloudblade's going to do. It could be just like Star Seraphs, where Star Seraphs just wrecked an entire format in the OCG, whereas in the TCG they didn't do much, because people played them and then realized something. They realized that they create really cloggy and bad hands. So in summary, I don't think that's really a reason to preemptively hit Lavalval Chain. And as far as now, would I consider maybe limiting it? I would say possibly, but I don't think Chain is really worth limiting. I mean, look at the large number of overpowered cards that what Chain does. Chain is a XYZ monster that dumps a card to the graveyard and can stack a card on the top of your deck. I don't think it's that overpowered. It has 1800 attack, and when you have, and especially in a format where we have cards like Satellar Knight Triver that are a giant Trunade on steroids that bounce everything but itself. We have a card like, Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss at 3. Is Lavalval Chain really that big of a deal, having a Foolish Burial that we can play in our extra deck? Not really. I think that it's a perfectly fine and fair card, and I don't really see the reason. I think the logic for limiting it is a bit silly. I don't really know why people complain about. Most of us probably have never actually seen a blue-blooded Oni deck, and especially not in real life. So, in summary, I think Lavalval Chain is a perfectly fine and fair combo-oriented XYZ, because there are very few XYZs like it that can advance your game state other than searchers like King of the Pharaoh Limps. And what I like about Chain is that it's a combo card, and I feel like it keeps creative decks alive and it helps them. And I don't think Chain is not even near ban worthy and not even really worth a limit. But anyway, guys, I thank you for watching this video today. I really appreciate it when people watch my videos. Tune in on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you like what you saw from this video, please subscribe. This is Orstorm, signing out.